Hi guys, Mad Mole here. Gonna do a video about tuning and setups. So I've picked Brands Hatch reversed in a Cat A touring car. Obviously to show you, obviously with the power difference, to show you how it pushes out and you can get it to turn in. With the lower powered cars, it is a bit about setup, more braking really and downforce than it is about suspension setup. But with these, suspension really does matter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my usual tuning for this, for the Cat A. I'd go 2 clicks on the front, so -20 on the front. Depending on the track, differential rise being Brands Hatch and being the reverse one, even on the normal forwards GP circuit, I'd leave normally the differential sort of centralised. If you do need a bit more steering, obviously open the differential. If you don't need as much steering, so let's say Yas Marina or places like that, I know Yas Marina has got quite a few tight corners, but they're not sweeping corners. Sweeping corners, you tend to leave it sort of centralised really, but if you've got really long straights, obviously you'd have your diff locked completely. So if you're on an oval, you'd have your diff locked completely out. Downforce wise round here, being the reverse circuit, normally I'd go a really low setup, but being the reverse circuit, I'm going to go 2 clicks off the top, so I'll go +80 on this. Gear ratios, I leave it sort of centralised on here. Other tracks I do move it about a bit. It just depends. Sometimes obviously second won't fall quite right if you use second gear. Obviously I never ever use first in this car because you'll just lose the back end with no traction. So I leave it centralised around here. It's just my personal preference. Other people may want it longer, so they have a longer second, longer third, or they may want it shorter so they can get to third, cut the wheel spin out. In this you can still really, with no traction control, unlike I use no assists at all, I can get it to spin up in near enough most gears, so it just depends how quick you are with the throttle application. Suspension wise, I run normally in touring cars, if I was in C category touring car, I'd run a full stiff suspension because it's not really too bad. If you do want a bit of extra turning, take it down by 4 clicks down to like +60. In this, on the other hand, what I'm going to use, being the A class one, is I use +80 and I use +20 on the front, so it gives me quite a sharp turning with the downforce. It's a really nice balanced setup. So to go over it, I use -20, so obviously I push the brakes to the front end, so obviously, because obviously the weight of the car is all on the front end, it's not on the back. Obviously if you're in the Mini, if you're in one of the mini class, if you're in the Mini Malaga, I can't remember the name of it. It's got being ill for a few days, not good. But if you're in the little minis, use either a centralised brake balance. If you go anything forwards in the Mini, basically the back end will overtake the front because there's too much brakes on the front. In some of the Mini cases, on some of the tracks, you can even put it back by sort of +10%, +20%. So, but as I say, I go -20 on this, a 0 differential, +80 on the downforce, zero gears, +20 and a +80. So, and I'll show you the difference. So I'll go to race and I'll show you the difference with it. This I find a very, very quick setup for this track. So I'll just show you through the sweeping section and I'll show you the difference with another setup. Well, this is the setup I run around here. I may tweak it in future, but if I do, I'll do another video and let you know about it. Obviously with the tyres being cold, it won't respond the same way, so 4th gear, 3rd gear, as you can see, you can just nail it in and you've got plenty of oversteer on the car. I was late there, obviously I've not practiced today, first thing I've done is come on and do this video, but as you can see, look, it tucks in, you've got plenty of room. So dab of brakes, tuck it in, as you can see you've got plenty of steering. Right, if we stop that, completely stop it, come back to the pits, and I'll show you how I used to drive it. Oops, yes, I do want to turn to this. How I used to drive it, and I'll do the similar sort of speeds. The car will react completely different. As I say, that's the setup I'm using at the moment. So if we get back to the pits again, so still on the same setup. My old setup used to be this, and you'll see the vast difference. I used to go minus 80, and I used to go there. I used to have 80 plus 80 plus 80, and you'll see the difference in the turning on this, obviously due to the downforce, but it's not all down to the downforce. It is down to obviously lowering the front springs. Lowering the front springs will give you more turning on a corner. Even with a lower downforce, it will give you more turning. So there's numerous ways of controlling it. As you can see, keep wide, fourth gear, you can already see it's just running wide. I'm into third gear there. That's a fourth gear corner. Depending on your gear ratios, obviously other people will have different gear ratios, but as you can see, look, sliding all the way. I can feel it just sliding from under us. There you go, having to lift right out, whereas before I was flat out. I didn't lift my foot. Here, it should be flat out. I'm having to hesitate. Back end's gone because of obviously no downforce, got too much turning. But there you can see it's sliding across. So you can see the difference between the two setups. Spin it back round the right way. I mean, it does make a vast difference when you get heat in the tyres as well. But I'll show you, obviously this is on time trial, so I'll have a flying lap. I'll have a flying lap with it all zeroed, and you'll see the difference between my top time. So I think, I can't remember what my top time is, but if we zero everything, put everything zeroed, it'll be a real fight with this car. It really, really will. Basically like you're using a bog standard car, with the exception of obviously I've got all the tuning open. I'm a level, whatever level car I am now. With it, oh, well, we're on time trial, so everything's open. It's got full tuned. It's fully everything. But this is a fully balanced car, and it should be completely unsettled at speed. I'll do a lap, and then a second lap you'll see completely unsettled. There'll be nowhere near the times I'm setting in the world as normal. As you can see, just doesn't want to go in at all. Not a bad setup, but it's not, certainly not a world-breaking setup. Nicely balanced. I mean, they did a good job balancing the cars, but as you can see, running wide. I mean, I do run wide there anyway. Having to lift, sort of feathering 3 times there really to keep that together. You'll notice the difference that's where I brake normally. You see, all 4 wheels, well you can't see it, but all 4 wheels were locked up then. I could feel it was just horrible under brakes there. Whereas with that minus 20, it would be absolutely brilliant braking coming down that hill. See, I braked at my usual point there, and it's run miles wide. And that's just purely down to the brake balance, that is. Here, as soon as I hit the dip, I go into third. As you can see, it's just pushing wide, doesn't want to keep on line. Yes, the car's not up to temperature, but it's still pushing wide. So here, I know I'm a bit tight, but there you go. Back end's trying to overtake the front. Whereas in the setup I've got, even on the first lap, there's no way the car would do that. So if we go back again, I'll go back into it again, and I'll show you a lap with cold tyres with the regular setup. Well, slightly an alternative setup. Actually, no, with my regular setup, I shall show you the difference. The difference is night and day, in my opinion, anyway, for what it's worth. So there you go. That's the setup I've run my time in, which is, I don't know, I think I'm 5th in the world, but I know I can go quicker. I know I've got at least half a second in the bank, and now I'm back on, I will be going back and putting that to rights over the next couple of weeks. So right, anyway, as I'll show you. Stone cold tyres, nothing up to temperature. The difference into this first corner will be night and day. So much more steering there. There, I didn't even turn it. I purposely kept wide there, and look how quick it's come back. I purposely overshot that corner just to show you the amount of steering. As you can see there, the amount of steering, I've had to lift off the steering. So I'll show you through this sweeping section. I'll keep my foot pinned in. Fourth gear, I have to lift slightly just to get the nose in. Foot's in. Difference is dramatical. Lift slightly, I slightly overran that. But look, I've got loads of steering to play with. I can go from side to side to the track, whereas with that other setup, no chance. The braking down here, dramatically different. Oh, look how early. I braked exactly the same point. I can nearly stop the car. So it just shows that 2 clicks forwards, dramatical change there. I'm only having to dab the brakes for a brief second. Up the hill, brake at 80 rather than at the 100. I'm braking far too early. So that -20, dramatical difference between what you saw at a balanced setup. There, I can look how early I can get the car in. It just shows it is a difference between night and day. Just doing a little spin for you, a little pirouette. So, as you can see, setups do make a valuable change to the car, and also a massive amount of they can save a massive amount of time over a lap. Obviously, if you hit every apex and you hit your braking zones right. I mean, you know, if you struggle with your braking zones, put the line on. Then learn the tracks, like I have it all off. I like to learn the game from scratch, as you'll see with Project Cars that's coming up, which will be coming out the 20th of May. 20th of March. Recreate myself. Once I get that, I'll be going into it with nothing on, nothing turned on, straight into it as the game is intended, as a simulation. None of this ABS, or, you know, if that's what you want, ABS, fair enough to learn it. But I do recommend learning it, you know, going with everything off, because otherwise you don't get the full feeling of the game. You're sort of missing half the game, really. So anyway, I hope that's helped. I hope the setups sort of clarified a few things on setups. And if you need any more help, just write a comment and I'll do my best to put out a video and you know, help you with any car setups that you're struggling with. Anyway guys, I hope that was informative, and I shall speak to you soon.